to this one, and this is flat. This is going to be banknotes or just plain old money. Oh, jeez. Scissor time. Wish me luck. I think they would have packed it somewhere in the middle. So I cut the very edge just a tiny bit. If I ruin something in this one, I'm going to just smack my head against the wall. Alright. Oh, it was so close. Look at that. Whatever this is right on the edge. Come on, sellers. They didn't even put anything around it. It's just right in an envelope all by itself. Oh, these are huge. I know what these are. And this is going to be an interesting topic. These are... Look how huge this thing is. I got to hold it at arm's length just to get the whole thing in the shot. And this is my Whitman book behind me, so you got some reference and size. These things are monsters. Okay, these are reproduction notes, obsolete currency for the U.S. This is a $20 gold certificate. This is the front, and we'll talk about this in a minute. This is the front. This is an 1882 issue. Okay, this is the front, one sheet of paper, and this is the back. A separate sheet of paper. And then here's a $50 1882 gold certificate. On one sheet. And this is the reverse. It's kind of neat. The Reproduction even put in the little blue and red filaments that are in the cotton paper of the real note. These are not real, folks. These are reproductions, and we'll talk about that in a minute. This is a $5 silver certificate from 1886. The quality on these is it's just passable. These could almost be printed off on a inkjet printer. And this is cool. I remember looking for this one. I think this is why I bought this lot. It's a $5 silver certificate. This is a Morgan silver dollar depicted on the back of this $5 silver certificate. This is the front. And this is the back. You notice here it says $5 silver dollars. So on the back they put a silver dollar. In fact, they put 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I talked this over with some people in the coin groups. And I think I showed a picture of this. And I asked the question, is this the only time in U.S. history where a coin was reproduced onto a bill? And we're fairly certain it is. If someone else out there can clarify that, yes or no, please comment below and let us know. But we are of the opinion that this is the only time in U.S. history of the Treasury Department they took a coin likeness and put it on a bill. So I remember searching for this one specifically on eBay, and it came in a lot, so I bought the entire lot of reproduction notes. And like I said, these are huge. So these are going to go side by side, up and down, something like that. Maybe make a poster of them. And this is a $10,000 United States gold note. This one is dated August 3rd, 1917, and it's through the Federal Reserve Bank in New York, a series of 1900. And this one does not have a corresponding back. These must have been, when the original, these must have been just one-sided. Now here's a little fun game we'll play. These are all representations of real currency from long, long ago. Now, if I only had a regular dollar with me. Let me check my pockets. Let me back in 1 second here. Okay, I'm back. Just so happens I hit the ATM on the way to work this morning, and I have a real $20 bill. Now, when these came out, they weren't the standard modern size or 20s. They were a little bit bigger. They were called blanket notes, was the slang term for them. So they were a little bit bigger than this. I don't have a blanket note reprint anywhere, or even a real blanket note laying around for that matter. But they weren't the modern size. They were a little bit bigger. They were approximately up to here, and then over to here. So they were considerably bigger, probably 50% bigger than this current note. But they weren't anywhere near this huge. Now, and of course they were printed on both sides where this is blank. Now, with the Hobby Act that was passed back in the 1990s, I believe, they made very certain guidelines for reproductions of real money or real coins. You had to have, for coins, you had to have them stamped copy somewhere prominently in the design, so they wouldn't be confused with the real one. Now on notes, they took a different approach. I don't believe anywhere on here it says copy. Now, initially you might think, well then, they're in trouble, they're violating the law. But what they did do was say, if you reproduced a note, a bill, exactly, you could get away with it if, one, it was printed larger or smaller than the original issue, and it also had to be one-sided. So, being this big and only one-sided, there's no way anyone would ever mistake this for a real bill. I couldn't walk into Walmart and try to spend this and fool the cashier and she would take it as a 20. So that's why those laws were enacted. So these are obviously reproductions. Now, I'll pose this to you. If I had this exact same bill, the same reproduction, and it was the actual size of the original issue, and it was two-sided, what would you call that? A reproduction note, B, counterfeit, or C, legal tender, meaning you could spend it. I'll ask again. If I had this in the exact size of the original issue, front and back, didn't say copy anywhere on it, what would you call that note? A reproduction, a counterfeit, or legal tender, meaning you can spend it? And this is a very important point. If you had what we just mentioned, an exact reproduction, front and back, same size as the original legal tender note, that would be called counterfeiting, and you would go to prison. So that's why when you buy these things, they're huge, or they're small, or they're one-sided, or they're a combination of one-sided and big or small. Because if you did the exact same size, the exact same design, front and back, that's counterfeiting, and the Secret Service would come and find you and arrest you and throw you in jail, and then bad things would happen.